Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of PlusUltra Reviews presented by the BrosWhoThink Network. We're here, as always, to review My Hero Academia Chapter 224, the latest chapter in the manga. So, as always, we like to tell you a little bit about what happened last time in the intro, then do the review, and then discuss. So, look, I'm a little different because you guys know always see me with my hat on. I'm finally shaving up, not looking like a beast anymore. But let's talk about last week's chapter. So look, last week's chapter was dope because I thought we were going to go after, I thought last week's chapter would have been us getting back to the heroes. But no, we're still in My Villain Academia and like straight up, the war is about to begin. Dinner Rat straight up. Before I get into that, Giganto Mashia, we found out that him and Tomoe are still fighting. We find out that this dude can fight for at least 3 days straight, and a couple minutes involved. I believe it's either 48 hours or 72 hours, 48 hours and 44 minutes, or it's 72 hours and 44 minutes. Either one of those. And Toga and Twice and Spinner and all the guys, they break into two-man teams to help out Shigaraki while he fights. He's still trying to tame Giganto. He hasn't done it quite yet. And that's when, boom, Dinner Rat and Redestro are like, straight up, we're coming to take you out. You guys are too powerful. We sent pieces of your broker, Jiren's hands around to wherever you guys have battled before, and it makes the L to show you that this is a declaration of war, and we're about to get it on. And straight up, this next chapter begins that battle. I don't want to take too much of the time in the intro because this intro pretty much, we talked a lot last week about Giganto Mashia and what he means to Tomoe, but now that he's about to battle in this war, it's like he still has to deal with Giganto, and that comes up in the chapter, so we're going to be very interested to see how they move going forward. But what I really like about this is this is my final thing about the last chapter. We meet each individual, I guess, quote unquote. The way I like to relate it is to One Piece because, like you guys know, I've just caught up all the way with One Piece. And in One Piece, there's usually the head captain that has to fight Luffy, and then his subordinates. Well, we have Redestro, who's probably gonna fight Tomoe, and then we see the different members of the Re-Liberation Army as different CEOs of different companies or people connected to Dinner Rat and Redestro, and we meet all of them. And we meet the four main branches besides Redestro, who's gonna help him fight. And I'm assuming that we're gonna see the League of Villains each take one of those members, and it's gonna be super, super dope. But without further ado, let's get into this week's review of Chapter 224. This week's chapter begins with, we see the League of Villains discussing what are they going to do. They realize that, like, yo, if they're watching us from space and they're tracking our move, we're in trouble. And Mr. Compressor's like, I don't know what we're going to do. And Twice is like, bro, we know what we got to do. We got to go save Jiren. Jiren gave us a place to belong. Jiren put us together. He's our guy. And Toga's like, they might have killed him, but Tomoe's like, hold on, you guys, I got a plan. He asked the doctor if he heard all of this, and the doctor was like, yeah, I didn't realize that the Liberation Army is back. He's like, you guys are making waves in the underworld because all these oldies keep digging up and they want to take y'all out. And Mr. Compressor's like, bro, doctor, give us a high-end Nomu, let us do it. And the doctor's like, that ain't happening. The little ones are just in the testing stage. We find out that if Dabi would have retrieved his body, then he could have made it. But without All For One producing more of them, the doctor has to take his time and let these ones grow. So the Nomus are out for this fight. But Tomoe wasn't even planning that. Tomoe wanted to know how long until Giganto wakes up, and they tell him about 2 hours and 35 minutes. And then he asks the doctor, where's Dabi? He's like, warp us to Dabi right now. And they're like, wait, we're taking the bait. And Tomoe's like, nah, listen, I'm going to let Giganto right into the middle of the fray because he keeps following me. He's not invincible. He just has a lot of HP. So what we're going to do is he's going to fight right in the fray. We're going to send the revolutionaries to get grounded out, and then we'll take him out. And the doctor's like, ooh, this is an underhanded plan, but what if the CEO was bluffing? He's like, well, dog, he just got to die then, plain and simple. So they straight up go, they meet up with Dabi, the whole crew's together. They're looking at the city and they're like, how are we about to get into this? We're about to make Giganto clash. Dabi's like, why'd y'all drag me into this? And then all of a sudden, they hear someone's coming, and then we see a hero. And basically, this hero's like, if you want to face-to-face with the Liberation Army's commander, then you got to follow me. They follow him into the city. They see another hero lurking in the shadows, not too many people around. And they're like, this whole city is where we're going to fight. And he's like, this isn't usually my turf, but today's a big exception. And then, boom, we're introduced right away to Hanabata, the leader of the Hearts and Mind Party. And he's like, just as the man says here, this is Deka City. 90% of the population of the heroes included are in the Liberation Warriors waiting. So this is a liberated district. Nobody's going to mess with us. Thank you for making the trip. You guys are our guests of honor. Let's start the festivities. And basically, he snaps and all kind of people come out to start fighting. And they're like, whoa, that's Hanabata. What are we going to do? They're like, where's Jiren? And he's like, Jiren's just waiting over there in the tower with our Grand Commander. And he's like, you guys promised we'd get him back. That was a lie. And Tomura's like, don't worry about it. We're going to the tower. He starts taking off all the little weaklings with his destroy quirk. We see it in action, just touching them, gone. And then Toga's like, oh, this is where we good at. We get to fight. And then boom, the ground blows up from under her, and she's face to face with one of the leaders of the Liberation Army. And basically, she's like, I'm about to take you out. You're Himiko Toga. I'm about to just break you down and beat your ass. And Toga's like, that sucks. I'm not about to lose. So the chapter ends with the battles really heating up. We see Hanabata in there. We see the female leader in the Liberation Army fighting Toga. It's about to heat up, and plus they have all the little minions that the other League of Villains have to worry about. But I'm sure, like we saw, Tomura can easily take them out. But now let's get into discussion. Man, what another amazing chapter. My hero does it again and again. As we see when we're in Villain Academia, this chapter is so different because now we're focusing on the buildup of our in-game villains with the villains of right now for this arc. So we see Dinnerat has made its declaration of war. And now Tomura and the gang are like, what do we do? They're tracking our moves. We just need to go take them out. But everybody's hesitant, except really Twice. Twice is like, we got to do it just because we got to save Jiren. That's his main thing, because Jiren was his guy. He helped. He was the one who helped him with his identity crisis. He gave him purpose again in his life. So I understand why Twice is really, really concerned to save him. And Tomura's like, just slow your roll. I have a plan. And he's like, we're going to use Gigantomachia to take all these fuckers out. We're going to take them all out. And I don't care if the CEO is bluffing. I don't care if he's lying. They're just all going to die because you're not going to question us. And you're not going to take somebody that's important to our operation. And we're just going to show you the League of Villains' true power. And basically, in between that, we find out that they can't use the Nomus because without All For One, they can't grow high in Nomus like they used to. It's going to take some time. So that's out of the equation. So now we have our plan. They meet up with Dabi, and they're like, all right, let's get into it. Giganto's going to come find us, and he's going to come here. Let's see what's up. And then boom, they meet a hero, and we find out that this Liberation Army not only has heroes, it has whole towns that are liberated that will clear out and be ready to fight for Dinnerat. So that's something huge, that we've never really seen. Because it's like, whoa, this whole city is committed to taking y'all out behind the Revolutionary Army. The heroes are unsuspected. They have they have people who have infiltrated the hero system, who are known heroes who work for them. So at any given point, these heroes can be like, boom, we're Liberation Army. So it's going to be very interesting to see how our heroes react, our pro heroes react to this, and seeing the League of Villains fighting them. Now, we see, once the hero leads them into the city, we see another hero lurking on top, but basically the city's empty. And then boom, Hanabata, the leader of the Hearts and Mind Party, comes out and he's like, you guys are our special guests. Let's get the festivities started. Jiren's in the tower, and we're just gonna start kicking y'all's ass. War has been declared, and Tomura's like, whatever. And Hanabata sends out all their like little minions, I guess the little foot soldiers of the Liberation Army, and they're like, Tomura. And Tomura just uses his quirk, bow, desecrates them, just destroys them off rip. They're no match for him. And he's like, we're getting to the tower. We're gonna go fight your leader and get Jiren back. And then we see because I didn't know her name in the review, but Kizuku of Shueisha Publishing Director, or Shueisha Publishing Director. It's dope because he made a play on Shueisha. For those who don't know, that's a big publishing company for manga in Japan, but he made a play on it, and we see Kizuku attack Toga and like straight up like, I'm about to whoop your ass, Toga. And because Toga was excited because once she saw Tomura go off, she's like, ooh, this is what we're good at. We can destroy things. And no, she's met with Kizuku and she's going to have to fight her. And it's going to be, like I said in the intro, when you saw each head leader of the Liberation Army, it felt like One Piece, like, oh, each one has their own villain and they're going to have to take them out while Tomura has to take out Redestro. So it's going to be interesting next week's chapter to see if Dabi fights Hanabata, who fights him, when will the next, head of Dinnerat come out, because there is one more, and then you have Redestro. So it's going to be interesting to see who fights who takes on the foot minions, and when does Giganto come in. I believe Giganto is going to take out a lot of the foot soldiers, the fodder, the unnecessary people, but we're going to see, I believe, Dabi, Toga, Tomura, and maybe twice fight some of these main people. And then that's when it's going to get interesting. I don't know when you bring back the heroes, probably not until after this battle, but it's going to be very interesting to see how Hero Society responds to this and finds out that, oh, we have heroes that have been infiltrated our system who are really, truly, their goal is to help the Liberation Army. It's going to be very interesting to see how our heroes deal with that. But that's pretty much all for this chapter. Super dope chapter. Just to fill you guys in, people were asking, will I rate these chapters? I'm not really gonna rate them 1 through 5 because I know on our other podcast we rate shows. I'm not really about rating these chapters. This is really just a discussion and review of what happened in the chapter. And I know review is misleading, but it's mainly a discussion of what happened in the chapter because I'm not gonna give a grade on it, but we will grade the anime when it comes. But other than that, be on the lookout for our anime podcast, the flagship podcast, where we talk about the latest news in anime, where we answer you guys' questions, and we review the latest anime that's being aired right now, which is we're reviewing Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba, and we're reviewing One Punch Man. By the time you guys watch this, you'll be able to check out #Anime Talk episode, I believe 25, wherever you check out podcasts or wherever you listen to podcasts. But other than that, please remember to subscribe. The first 50 subscribers will be in a giveaway for merch. We will collect all you guys' name and we'll pick at random a couple winners, and you guys will be sent Anime Talk merch and merch from the Bros Who Think podcast for subscribing, because we appreciate every subscriber, every view. If you've ever watched this, thank you. We really, really appreciate it. And just tell your friends, if they like My Hero, why not check out our reviews, because we love it. And we're going to start cranking out discussion videos. We're going to start cranking out more deep dives into My Hero as we get this YouTube channel built. But thank you guys for watching this week's episode. And until next time, I'm signing off. And remember, PlusUltra. Well, remember to keep it PlusUltra.